Avoid this mistake if you want to protect your peace and thrive. Have you ever felt drained, frustrated, or completely thrown off track because of someone else's drama? It happens to the best of us. Toxic people have a way of creeping into our lives, taking up space in our heads and distracting us from what truly matters. The worst part, most of us make the same mistake. They let these toxic influences control their time, energy, and focus. But here's the truth. You don't have to live like that. If you want to reclaim your peace, chase your dreams, and build a life free from their chaos, there's one thing you need to master: staying anchored in your purpose. In this video, we're diving deep into how to protect your energy, set boundaries, and thrive beyond the negativity. By the end, you'll have the tools to break free from the hold toxic people have over your life. Let's get started. Number 1. The hidden agenda of toxic people. Imagine this. You're catching up with an old friend, or perhaps having a conversation at work, and the vibe feels light, even fun. Then, out of nowhere, a subtle jab, a veiled critique, or an unnecessary comment slips into the mix. Maybe they downplay your latest achievement or bring up a sensitive subject disguised as a joke. You laugh it off or brush it aside, but deep down, it lingers. Why do they do that? Toxic people aren't always obvious. They're not walking around with flashing neon signs that say, "I'm here to ruin your day." On the contrary, they're often charming, engaging, and seem well-meaning on the surface. That's the trap. Their hidden agenda is to subtly shift the spotlight away from you and onto themselves. Or worse, to make you doubt your own shine. It's a tactic as old as time. Remember those moments in your life when you were genuinely excited about something. Maybe it was a new job, a creative project, or even a small personal victory. Then someone came along and said something like, "That's great, but don't get ahead of yourself," or "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" At the time it might have felt like concern, but later you realized it wasn't. It was a calculated effort to plant doubt, to make you second-guess yourself. Why? Because a confident, self-assured person who knows their worth is a threat. Toxic individuals thrive on control. They don't want you to soar because if you're flying high, you're out of their reach. Their agenda is not about building themselves up, but about keeping others down. It's not always malicious. Sometimes it stems from their insecurities or unresolved traumas. But regardless of the reason, their behavior impacts you all the same. Think back to a time when someone's words or actions made you feel small, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Now, imagine what you could have accomplished if you hadn't let their negativity seep into your thoughts. You'd be unstoppable, right? That's precisely why recognizing the hidden agenda of toxic people is the first step to breaking free from their influence. Number 2. How focus threatens toxic control. Picture this. You're locked in, working on a project, hitting that sweet spot where ideas flow effortlessly and the world fades away. Your focus is sharp and the momentum is building. Suddenly a distraction. Maybe it's a ping on your phone, a knock on your door, or a person who always seems to need you at the worst possible time. They pull you away from that flow, and before you know it, the magic is gone. Now imagine that distraction isn't random. Imagine it's a person in your life who thrives on breaking your focus, intentionally or unintentionally. These are the moments where toxic people truly wield their power. They can't stand your focus because focus represents independence. When you're focused, you're in control of your thoughts, energy, and direction. To a toxic person, this is terrifying because it means you're slipping out of their grasp. Think about a time when you were chasing a big goal. Maybe it was finishing a degree, launching a business, or even just getting back into shape. There was probably someone who either subtly or overtly tried to derail you. They might have said, "Why are you spending so much time on this?" or "You've been so distant lately." They might not even realize what they're doing, but the result is the same. They pull your attention away from what matters most. Focus is like a superpower in a world full of distractions. Toxic people hate it because a focused person has no time for their games, drama, or manipulations. They lose the ability to control you when your mind is fixated on growth, ambition, and purpose. They thrive in chaos, and your focus brings clarity, a direct threat to the chaos they thrive on. Here's a nostalgic twist. Remember the last time you were completely absorbed in something you loved? Maybe as a kid, building something with your hands, drawing, or getting lost in a good book. That feeling of being untouchable, where nothing and no one could pull you away. That's the essence of focus, a pure, powerful state where you're entirely in your element. Toxic people? They hate that. They'll do anything to shatter it, because when you're focused, you're free. Number 3, reclaiming your time and energy. Have you ever ended a day feeling utterly drained, not from the work you accomplished, but from the endless little battles you didn't even realize you were fighting? A passive-aggressive comment here, an unnecessary argument there, and before you know it, your energy is gone. And for what? Nothing productive, that's for sure. Time and energy are your most precious resources, and toxic people are like black holes for both. They have a knack for demanding your attention at the worst possible times, when you're busy, when you're exhausted, or when you're finally making progress on something important. They're not just stealing your time, they're stealing your momentum, your peace, and your joy. Think back to a time when you got caught up in someone else's drama. Maybe it was a friend who called you in the middle of the night to vent about the same problem they've had for years, despite never taking your advice. Or a colleague who dragged you into workplace gossip that left you feeling stressed and on edge. It's exhausting, isn't it? Now, imagine what you could do with all that time and energy if you reclaimed it. Picture pouring it into something that genuinely matters to you, a passion project, your health, your family, or even just some well-deserved rest. The difference would be night and day. Here's the curiosity kicker. How much of your life are you unintentionally giving away? Toxic people don't announce themselves. They sneak into your schedule, your thoughts and your emotions without you even realizing it. Reclaiming your time and energy isn't just about cutting them off. It's about setting boundaries so firm that they can't take from you in the first place. It's not always easy, though. Sometimes these people are deeply ingrained in your life. They might be family, friends, or co-workers. The thought of reclaiming your time might feel overwhelming, even impossible. But here's the thing. Every small step you take to prioritize your energy and protect your time is a step toward freedom. And once you start, you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. Number 4, setting boundaries to protect your peace. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a space where nothing disturbs your peace, a place where you feel calm, grounded, and untouchable. Sounds perfect, doesn't it? Now think about how often that peace is disrupted by someone demanding your time, energy, or attention. Maybe it's a friend calling to unload their problems for the 100th time, or a coworker who always shifts their responsibilities onto you. Whatever the situation, the result is the same. Your peace is sacrificed. Setting boundaries is the ultimate act of self-respect, yet it's one of the hardest things to do, especially with toxic people. They don't take boundaries lightly. In fact, they'll often push back harder when you start to assert them. But here's the thing. The more you let others trample over your boundaries, the more you lose sight of your own needs and priorities. Think back to a moment when you said yes to something you didn't want to do, just to avoid conflict or guilt. Maybe it was taking on extra work, attending an event you weren't interested in, or lending an ear to someone who never reciprocated. How did it make you feel? Drained? Resentful? That's what happens when your boundaries aren't clear or firm. But here's the flip side. Remember the first time you said no to something that didn't serve you? Maybe it was nerve-wracking, but wasn't there also a sense of liberation, a realization that your time and energy were yours to protect? Setting boundaries isn't about shutting people out. It's about making room for what truly matters. The curiosity is this: how much more could you accomplish? How much happier could you be if you created boundaries strong enough to keep negativity out? Toxic people will test those boundaries. Expect it. But the more consistent you are, the more they'll learn that you're no longer available for their chaos. And in that space of newfound peace, you'll discover the freedom to focus on your purpose, your joy, and your life. Number 5. The power of avoiding gossip. Picture this. You're in a group of friends, co-workers, or even family members, and the conversation takes a turn. Suddenly, someone brings up a juicy piece of gossip, and everyone leans in, eager to hear more. It's tempting, isn't it? Gossip feels like a harmless way to connect, to share, to vent. But is it really? Here's the thing about gossip. It's a double-edged sword. It might feel satisfying in the moment, but it has a way of dragging you into the negativity you're trying to escape. Toxic people thrive on gossip because it fuels the drama they crave. When you engage, you're not just an observer, you're a participant in their game. Think back to a time when you vented about someone who frustrated you. Maybe it was a co-worker who always dropped the ball, or a friend who let you down. At first, it probably felt cathartic, like you were finally letting off steam, but afterward, didn't you feel a little heavier, maybe even a little guilty? That's the trap of gossip. It doesn't solve anything, it only amplifies the problem. Now, imagine taking a different approach. The next time you're tempted to gossip, what if you redirected that energy into something productive? Instead of venting, you could brainstorm solutions, seek advice from someone you trust, or simply let it go. It's not about suppressing your feelings. It's about choosing to channel them in a way that uplifts rather than drags you down. Here's the curiosity. What would your relationships look like if you refused to participate in gossip? Toxic people would lose one of their main tools of manipulation. And as for you, you'd find yourself lighter, freer, and more focused on what truly matters. Avoiding gossip isn't just a choice, it's a statement, a declaration that you won't let someone else's drama dictate your actions or emotions. Number 6. Building a mental shield against negativity. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm, but instead of getting drenched, you're completely dry and calm, as if the rain can't touch you. That's what it feels like to have a mental shield, a protective barrier that keeps negativity at bay. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about deciding what gets to affect you and what doesn't. Toxic people are experts at finding cracks in your mental armor. They'll test your patience, challenge your confidence, and push your buttons in ways that feel almost surgical. Whether it's a sly comment, a guilt trip, or an outright confrontation, their goal is the same: to break through that shield and pull you into their storm. Think about a time when someone's words or actions really got under your skin. Maybe it was a co-worker's snide remark during a meeting or a family member's criticism at a gathering. How long did it take you to shake it off? Hours, days. That's the power of negativity. It lingers, festering in your mind long after the moment has passed. Now, think about a time when you chose not to let something bother you. Maybe someone tried to provoke you, but instead of reacting, you stayed calm and focused. Didn't it feel powerful? That's the mental shield in action. It's not about pretending negativity doesn't exist. It's about refusing to let it define your mood, your day, or your life. Here's the curiosity. What if you could build that mental shield so strong that no toxic person could penetrate it? It starts with mindfulness, recognizing when negativity is trying to creep in and choosing not to engage. Over time, you'll find that their words and actions lose their power over you, and in that freedom, you'll discover a new level of clarity, focus, and peace. Number 7. Choosing your growth over toxic relationships. Think about a garden for a moment. To make it thrive, you water the plants, pull out the weeds, and ensure it gets enough sunlight. Now imagine what would happen if you let the weeds take over. No matter how hard you tried to care for the plants, the weeds would keep choking them, robbing them of the resources they need to grow. Relationships are no different. Toxic relationships, whether with a friend, partner, family member, or co-worker, are like weeds in your life. They demand attention, drain your energy, and hinder your growth. Yet, breaking free from them can feel impossibly hard. There's guilt, fear of being labeled selfish, and the nagging question, what if I'm wrong to let go? Let's take a step back. Think of a time when you prioritized someone else's needs over your own. Maybe you stayed late to help a co-worker, even though you had plans. Or perhaps you constantly made yourself available to a friend who only called when they needed something. How did it leave you feeling? Fulfilled or exhausted and taken for granted? Now consider the opposite. Remember a moment when you chose to invest in yourself. Perhaps it was pursuing a passion, taking a break for your mental health, or saying no to someone's unreasonable demands. How liberating was it to put yourself first? That's not selfishness, it's self-respect. The curiosity is this: how much more could you grow, thrive, and succeed if you made the difficult yet necessary choice to prioritize your well-being over toxic relationships? It might mean saying goodbye to someone you care about or redefining the terms of a relationship, but in doing so, you open the door to better connections, opportunities, and personal growth. Toxic people may try to pull you back into their chaos, but choosing your growth sends a powerful message. You're no longer available for anything less than what you deserve. Number 8. Thriving beyond the chaos, the ultimate win. Picture this. You've worked hard, overcome obstacles, and built a life filled with purpose and joy. Toxic people still exist, but their presence no longer affects you. They're like background noise in a crowded room, present but irrelevant. Can you imagine the freedom that comes with thriving beyond their chaos? At some point, we've all been caught in the storm of someone else's drama. Maybe it was a friend constantly pulling you into their problems, a family member who thrived on arguments, or a co-worker who always managed to stir the pot. Their chaos had a way of seeping into your life, no matter how hard you tried to avoid it. But think about a time when you rose above it all. Maybe you focused on your goals, found joy in your passions, or surrounded yourself with positivity. Didn't it feel like you reclaimed a part of yourself that had been lost? That's the beauty of thriving. It's not about escaping toxic people. It's about rendering them powerless in your life. The curiosity here is this: what would your life look like if you didn't just survive toxic people, but thrived despite them? It starts with clarity, knowing your purpose and keeping it front and center. It grows with boundaries, the kind that protect your energy and peace. And it's solidified by a mindset that refuses to let anyone else's negativity dictate your path. When you thrive beyond the chaos, something incredible happens. You become a source of inspiration for others. People notice your strength, your focus, and your unshakable peace. They start to emulate it, leaving toxic people with fewer and fewer places to plant their drama. In thriving, you not only transform your life, but also create a ripple effect that empowers those around you. And that, right there, is the ultimate win. Breaking free from the grip of toxic people isn't just about setting boundaries or avoiding gossip. It's about reclaiming your power and living life on your terms. It's about choosing growth over chaos, peace over drama, and your dreams over distractions. The journey isn't always easy, but every small step toward protecting your energy is a step toward building the life you deserve. Remember, you hold the pen to your story, and toxic people don't get to write a single chapter. If you've made it this far, drop a 100 in the comments to show you're part of the 0.01% who actually finish what they start. It's proof that you're ready to take charge of your life and leave negativity behind. If you're serious about transforming your mindset and staying focused on your purpose, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We're here to guide you every step of the way. Let's build something extraordinary